You know what's crazy? People are always in my fucking business worried about what I'm doing. What Floyd is doing, what Floyd ain't doing, what I do got, what I don't got. Just know, I'm gonna stay in my lane, I ain't gonna fuck with nobody, and I don't want nobody fucking with me. If I go on vacation, my fault.
You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. Either for you to go Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
Nobody saw this coming. Not Big Meech, not the people who believed in second chances, and definitely not the ones who thought loyalty still meant something in this industry. For weeks, the internet was buzzing with one question.
When you do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. So if you go do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. That's why you hadn't seen no paperwork. It's all hearsay. Somebody saying he told, or somebody saying he used Tammy Cowens to set up Cuffy. Well, when you do your research and you look at the court documents that's on Big Meech, you see that Tammy Cowens took the stand and said that she did this on her own accord without Big Meech's knowledge.
Why was Floyd Mayweather suddenly everywhere around Big Meech? The photos looked friendly. The smiles felt intentional. Courtside seats, private hangouts, flashy nights out. It all gave the impression that Floyd was stepping in as a savior.
I'm looking at it from 50 position. I go get your son. And at the time when I meet your son, he's not making the best decisions in life. You know, they say he was strung out on them perks. And they like to pop them perks. 50 take him somewhat, I wouldn't say clean him up, but spend 2 years in acting classes that 50 paid for. It was hard finding somebody to play the role of Big Meech, so we picked your son. 50, according to 50, he's put over $5 million into the pockets of Lil Meech and the family's, you know, financial, over $5 million. He's helped them make. Nigga blew your son up, and we bring you back to life. Prior to the BMF series, Big Meech was buried alive. Wasn't nobody saying his name. Jeezy wasn't really shouting him out no more. He was buried alive. So 50 bring life back to him, put his son in a position, turn his son into a millionaire, and he actually turned out to be a pretty good actor. You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. For you to go fuck Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
A financial lifeline, maybe even a protector during one of the most fragile moments of Big Meech's life. But here's the twist nobody expected.
Let this be a perfect example on you gotta be very careful on who you bring in and who you put on. That's Little Meech right there. And if you don't know, he's the son of Big Meech. And if you don't know who that is, well, Big Meech was one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, he went in jail. He came out of jail and he started linking up with 50 Cent's ops. Now, bear in mind, 50 Cent made BMF and put Little Meech on BMF without any acting skills.
Behind those smiles was silence. Behind those photos was no money. And behind that public support was a quiet backstab that left Big Meech standing alone. Because when it really mattered, when help was actually needed, Floyd didn't come through, and that betrayal cut deeper than any public insult ever could.
Hey, I was like, damn, you know, like, seemed like him and 50 got a, you know, because after that thing came out, how Meech was talking all,
you know, like, no. Oh, y'all. I'm with my dead nigga, but I ain't like his response, but it seemed like he got a genuine love for 50 Cent or him, and from when I was reading it, like he seemed like he caught in the middle, but like he caught in the middle. That's what it seemed like from me reading it, but I would have been like, you.
Right, because it's your father.
My daddy.
Big Meech's story has always been complicated. He came from nothing, built an empire, and paid the ultimate price for it, years behind bars.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation at the points that you hear things from him at this point. Because if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to saying I'm going to do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath. Just going to say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after, like, you notice.
Decades away from his family, watching the world move on without him, while his name became both a legend and warning at the same time. For Big Meech, prison wasn't just punishment, it was isolation from the life he once controlled.
Meech's biggest mistake was getting on camera with Rick Ross, running to the internet. Rick Ross was wrong for putting Big Meech out there, knowing he doing business with 50. Rick Ross using Meech. Rick Ross using him, homie, knowing that there's a beef between me and this guy. So to do this video and then put it out there was a slap in the face to 50. And I done put everybody in position. Now, I'm with 50. While you were gone, Rick Ross didn't reach out to your son. Try to put him in his position where he can make $5 million. Did nobody reach out to you? Rick Ross didn't give you no money off using your name, your likeness or whatever in that song. He didn't give you no kickbacks for that. So, if he really f***ing with you, he could have put the concert on without putting you in the mix. But they playing tit for tat. So 50 ain't wrong.
While he was locked away, the streets changed, the music changed, the rules changed, and when he finally stepped back into freedom, the world he returned to wasn't built for loyalty anymore. It was built for clout, leverage, and quiet power plays. Still, people believed in his comeback. Fans wanted to see redemption.
You took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up you since for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this shit personal.
Friends claimed they wanted to help him rebuild. And when Floyd Mayweather entered the picture, it felt like the universe was finally cutting Big Meech a break. Floyd is known for one thing above all else: money. Unlimited wealth, the kind of fortune that turns problems into opportunities.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance, say that nigga.
So when Big Meech was seen next to him, many assumed the deal was already done. A business move, a partnership, some kind of financial backing to help Big Meech restart his life. But what nobody realized was that Floyd's presence wasn't about support, it was about positioning.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
What people forget is that Big Meech didn't just come home to freedom, he came home to pressure.
To give him the large picture. Yo, Pops wasn't no gangster.
Legal restrictions, financial limitations, and a son who had already been pulled into industry drama that was spinning out of control. Lil Meech's career had taken hits, opportunities started disappearing, and the safety net Big Meech thought was there began to unravel fast. That's when the need for real money became urgent. Not flashy appearances, not Instagram posts, actual resources. And this is where the story takes a darker turn. Behind the scenes, Big Meech was reportedly looking for financial help to stabilize things. Not charity, not handouts, just real backing to keep his family afloat and protect what little momentum he had left. And many believed Floyd, with all his wealth and influence, would step up. But days turned into weeks, weeks turned into silence, and silence turned into reality. There was no money, no investment, no deal. Floyd stayed visible in public but absent in private, and that contrast spoke louder than any statement ever could. What nobody talks about enough is how dangerous silence can be, because Floyd never promised anything publicly, he never announced a deal, he never denied one either, he let assumptions do the work for him. Big Meech, meanwhile, was left dealing with the fallout. Expectations rose, people assumed help had arrived, and when it didn't, the disappointment hit harder. This wasn't just a business letdown, it was personal. Big Meech had already burned bridges with 50, the BMF relationship had collapsed, his son lost opportunities, the show that brought income and visibility was pulled away, and now the one person everyone believed would catch him didn't.
That's betrayal on a different level, because if Floyd had stayed away completely, the damage would have been smaller, but showing up just enough to look supportive, then disappearing when it mattered most, that's a different kind of cold. And the streets noticed. Whispers started spreading. Floyd never planned to help. Floyd never intended to invest. Floyd was just playing chess, not checkers, and Big Meech was just another piece on the board. The hardest part is what this did to the family. Lil Meech was already under pressure. Public criticism, lost roles, online jokes, being compared to actors he once stood beside. And now, watching his father be used as leverage in someone else's feud only added to the emotional weight. A father who sacrificed everything to build something. A son trying to carry the name in a world that doesn't forgive mistakes. And allies who weren't really allies at all. Big Meech didn't just lose money, he lost trust. This situation showed him that fame doesn't equal friendship, that wealth doesn't guarantee loyalty, and that in this industry, people will smile in your face while calculating how your pain benefits them. The emotional toll is heavy. After decades behind bars, all Big Meech wanted was peace, stability, and a chance to rebuild quietly. Instead, he walked into another war, one he didn't even start. And Floyd? He walked away untouched. No statements, no explanations, no accountability. That's the real betrayal, not loud disrespect, not public insults, but quiet abandonment, the kind that leaves you questioning everyone around you. And what makes this even more painful is that Big Meech believed in the idea of brotherhood. He believed that shared struggles meant shared loyalty. But this situation proved that some people only stand beside you when it benefits their image. The industry didn't protect him, old friendships didn't save him, and new alliances didn't deliver. This story isn't just about money, it's about how easily people get used when emotions and history are involved. It's about how unresolved beef can drag innocent people into the crossfire. And it's about how dangerous it is to trust appearances over actions.
Big Meech is now left rebuilding again, not just financially, but emotionally, learning who's real, learning who's watching from a distance, learning who actually shows up when the cameras are off. And the lesson here is painful but clear. If someone truly has your back, you won't have to guess, you won't have to assume, and you won't be left waiting, because real loyalty doesn't come with silence. So the question now is simple. Was Floyd ever planning to help Big Meech, or was this always about hurting someone else? And if Big Meech could rewind time, would he still stand next to Floyd, knowing what he knows now? That's the part nobody can answer. But one thing is certain. This backstab will be remembered long after the photos fade. At the end of the day, this situation leaves a heavy question hanging in the air. Who really had Big Meech's back when it mattered most? Because when the cameras were gone and the noise died down, there was no safety net waiting for him, no quiet help, no real follow-through, just silence where support was expected to be. Big Meech didn't just come home to rebuild a life. He came home carrying hope for his family, his legacy, and a future that was supposed to be different. Instead, he walked straight into another lesson about how cold this industry can be. Smiles don't equal loyalty. Public appearances don't mean private support. And not everyone standing next to you is actually standing with you. What makes this sting even more is that this wasn't just about business. This was about trust, about believing that someone with power and resources would step up when the pressure was real. But when that moment came, Big Meech was left holding the weight alone, forced to face the reality that he had been used as a pawn in a much bigger feud. And maybe that's the hardest truth of all. Sometimes you don't get betrayed by enemies. You get betrayed by people you thought were allies, people who let you walk into a storm knowing they had no intention of walking through it with you. Now Big Meech has to move differently, smarter, quieter, more guarded. Because once you see how easily loyalty can disappear, you never look at relationships the same again. So as this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Real support shows up without an audience. Real loyalty doesn't need a caption. And real help doesn't disappear when it's time to deliver. Let me know what you think. Was this a calculated move or just another broken promise? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay locked in because this story is far from over.